Good morning, guys, and welcome. Now, we're going to start chapter 3, and chapter 3 we move on in terms of our statistic topics. You'll notice the heading is investigating the association between two variables. Call this bivariate data. Before this, we've been studying single sets of data. We've been doing single stem and leaf, single dot plots, single box plots, one graph or one statistical plot for one set of data. Now we're going to do two or more sets of data at once, and we get a comparison. We compare two variables. We start off with, whenever we do bivariate data or we look at two data sets, we have to, a variable is just a data set or a part of one of the data sets, a variable. We have to be able to identify which is the response variable, which we call the RV or response variable, and which is the explanatory variable. And you might be saying, sir, what's the point of this? Well, ultimately, guys, bivariate data, we're going to draw scatter plots. And scatter plots is a great way to look at the association. Are they linked? Are two variables linked? And we always put the EV on the bottom of the axis, and we always put the RV on the y-axis. So being able to identify the response variable and the explanatory variable is important once we start drawing scatter plots, because if we mess those up and we put them around the wrong order, our analysis will be void. Now, when we think about which is which, we think about what is the response? What variable responds to the explanatory variable? So something like that. We look at, we've got some examples. If you look here, when investigating association between variables, the explanatory variable is a variable we expect to explain or predict. So explanatory variable and the response variable. So the response variable responds to the explanatory variable. So let's have a look. Your exercise level and your age. So we get people's age, then we get people's exercise level. Which responds? Okay, does your age respond to your exercise level, or does your exercise level respond to your age? Well, your exercise level is going to respond to your age. So our EV is going to be our age, and we can predict or explain our exercise level. So I think if we looked at that, the older you get, the lower your exercise level. Years of education and your salary. Does your salary respond to your years of education, or does your years of education respond to your salary level? Well, your years of education, not all the time. We're not saying that there's no causation. We're not saying that your years of education and your salary level, it definitely is the cause, because there's always exceptions. We're just saying that there could be an association, there could be a link. Age group and musical taste. Well, I think the musical taste is going to respond to your age group. AFL team supported and the state of your residence. I think we're going to be able to predict your AFL team from the state of residence. That's going to be your EV. Comfort level from temperature. Well, does the temperature respond to your comfort level? No, it's the other way around. Your comfort level is going to be the response variable, and your temperature is going to be the explanatory variable. And time of year indicated the hay fever level. So what is the response? Well, the incidence of hay fever is going to be higher in spring, so it's going to be the response variable, and the EV is going to be the time of year. It's pretty hard to get your head around, but just think about what's responding. Now we go here and we've got a pretty challenging question from last year's exam. Now you don't need to worry about this, but what we're doing is we're predicting our two variables are body density and weight. So we record a data set, we get 20 people, we record their body density and we record their weight. And then we want to see if there's an association. We want to analyze those two variables. Now we want to know which one is the explanatory variable. Now this is hard, so think, your body density and your weight. A body density is when you get people's height and weight and figure out a figure, and weight is obviously you measure their mass. Now the interesting word in here is from. We're recording body density from weight. Now it's because of that, because we're predicting from weight, and if we go back up here, is a variable we expect to explain or predict the value of the response variable. So we're going to predict the value of the response variable. So because we're going from, we're predicting body density, that's going to be a RV from weight. So the explanatory variable is going to be weight. So that's it, guys, for that chapter. If you go into the textbook questions, they're really short. It's just a lot of very, very similar questions to what we've just done. So have a go at that, and